you know, we never know what the weather's going to be this winter and this spring, how dry it's going to be or whatever. But what we do know is we have the fuel built up for this year. We've in most of the states been wet, maybe above average. Some areas a little bit below, but we've got a lot of fuel accumulation, and so that will translate into some pretty good wildfire conditions if the weather conditions match up with the fuel loads.
So what should people be doing to prepare for the spring fire season?
So again, you know, when the fire is bearing down on your property and stuff, that's not the time to be thinking about, I need to get ready, I need to prepare something for the fire, for a wildfire. We need to do it well in advance, just like everything else. Going out and mowing strips down around buildings, around places we store equipment, things like that, to reduce that fuel load so it's not burning really hot right next to those structures, that equipment and things like that. We can get that fire back, also make it easier if a fire department is there, they can knock it down, make it safer for them to pull vehicles in, you know, being able to see. That's the thing to think about hay storage. Where am I storing my hay? You know, a lot of people are putting up hay, stacking hay up for things. Again, you know, kind of the deal, don't put all your eggs in one basket, don't store all your hay in one spot, you know, spread that stuff out so in case something does happen, you don't lose the whole load there. Put them in areas that there's very little fuel, sacrifice areas, put them in areas, you know, stack them on bare ground areas. Don't take a lot of work to get prepared, and it's a whole lot easier to do now than when you're trying to put yourself in between your property and the fire coming. That's not the place you want to be whenever those kind of conditions are going on. That is very unsafe. So do it now, you know, a little bit of prep.
So in addition to cutting and tilling, is prescription burning a good solution right now?
Yeah, again, using fire to fight fire with. So again, we can go in, burn around areas, you know, that may be kind of a problematic areas. Burning right now is great. As long as you got adequate old growth fuel, it'll burn, it'll carry really good and get things burned down. And so you create blackened areas where, you know, buffers against that fire coming in. That'd be a great place for, just like I said, storing hay. You know, you can burn out an area where your hay is going to go. And again, it's not going to really grow back a lot. You're going to get growth back, but it's still going to be a whole lot less. And again, you can wait a little bit later, even into the fall, to burn so you get less growth. There's several communities in the Texas Panhandle that are doing burning around their towns and stuff to protect them, you know, in the fall, doing those kind of burns and stuff to create blackened areas to keep their town and the community safe. So that's a good thing to do.
And then you have some fact sheets available for people if they're interested.
Yeah, we've got fact sheets on preparing farm and ranch for wildfire. Really great resource, talks all about that, about all the things that you ought to think about preparing for, not only insurance-wise, you know, prepping around buildings, prepping around your home, but also what to do in case that fire is coming, you know, and having a plan, having an evacuation plan and a livestock evacuation plan so we can try to keep ourselves out of danger and out of harm's way and protect all that stuff that we've worked hard to accumulate.
All right, thank you very much, John Weir, fire ecologist here at Oklahoma State University. And if you'd like more information on those fact sheets, go to our website, sunup.okstate.edu.